Good morning. This is Linda Jones. I'm the director at the Pipsqueakery Guinea Pig Rescue. One of the many things we do here at the rescue is build cages for people. There's a lot of instructions out there how to build 2x4 CNC cages with Coroplast. We've done a few videos ourselves, but today I want to show you how to make Coroplast to put in your Midwest cage. Midwest cages come with a canvas bottom, which is a green canvas. It's washable, it's great, but it has no stability, and even though you can wash it in the washer, you don't have any strong base to it. So today, what I did for a customer, this is a Midwest cage. This is Midwest, and Midwest, they're without the Coroplast, and I made a cage. Put it all the way on the floor for you. I put Coroplast inside the cage, and now it is a very stable cage. I always make mine with very high sides on the back and on the sides, and the front I keep at about 4 inches. That way you can see the piggies, but all the hay and the pellets and the poop stay in the beautiful Coroplast, okay? So here is a sheet I'm working on. This is what it looks like when you buy a sheet of Coroplast. And I have my measurements for the inside, perfect measurements for the inside of the Midwest cage. So let me show you how you do it, step 1, step 2, whichever. This is the finished product. I like leaving this loose so I can actually open this up and walk in to clean it, but you can zip tie it. I prefer to zip tie to the caging itself to give it a little more stability, and so there's no gaps between for the poop to get stuck in or the hay. But in the front, I usually leave it open so that I can open it up and clean like a door, because it's like hinged in the front. But you can zip tie it to the Coroplast and make it stable like I did on the back and on the sides. Very simple, zip tie. Put the holes up really high so that way you don't have any poop or pee leakage anywhere. So that's the finished product. This is what it looks like. You get a big sheet of Coroplast. Well, the easiest way to do it is to take your cage, put it on top, and draw around the inside. But they're not real stable cages. So first of all, this is my map. I always draw a map for everything I make. So let me see if I can put it down so it's stable. So this is the measurements for the Coroplast for a Midwest. This is 46 inches, because the reason why, and then 23 inches on the length, on the sides, and 46 on the inches. Now if you notice, this is a little smaller than the actual cage on purpose, because if you cut it the size of the cage, when it turns, there's a thickness to this Coroplast, and if you don't have it a little less than the cage, it will block the cage and you won't be able to fit. It has to fit inside the cage just a little bit. So my measurements are perfect to fit the cage, as you can see. So 23 and 46 should be your inside inches. The front I cut around 4 inches so that I can see the piggies. Now when you do this, it's upside down, right? You do all your mark all you want on the back side, because once it's scored and cut, you're going to flip it upside down and it will become the cage. So no one's going to see your markings. It's okay to write on it. So here is just like the measurements. Now score is where it's a different kind of from cutting. Scoring, I scored this. You take your blade, and if you just go right inside the bubble, measure to the bubble, it will bend and keep all the moisture inside. It's really great. Cutting and scoring is what I'm going to do on this line as well. We're going to score it, which is just very lightly. If you do it too hard, you're going to cut right through it. And on these flaps, just on my little map I showed you, these will be cut through, but I don't cut them through till the very end. I never want to cut anything until I'm absolutely sure it's going to fit. So these are all going to be scored lines. This was I already scored the front at 4 inches, so it's bending really nice for me when I turn upside down. The back I keep very high. In fact, I didn't show you the inches. My back wall, I like to be around 11 inches. So my back wall's around 11. The sides are about 11 inches on each side too. So it's 11 inches, 11 inches, 11 inches. 2 sides and a back 11, and the front at 4. Everything extra, just cut off. And if you have extra Coroplast, you can make a hay tray. Just make a little teeny miniature a miniature of your cage and use some duct tape on the sides, and you've got an instant hay tray as a bonus. So don't get rid of your scraps. They're really worth it to make all kinds of other things. This is how you do it. Scoring it, like I said, this is what I did. This is what scoring looks like when you're done. Cutting through, I will cut through right at the edges to make it flap. Okay, so these are now scored so that they bend. They should bend very easily. This part is cut, making a flap. So this is what it should look like. It should be scored to make like a box. And then these have a flap. So I'm going to turn it upside down, or right side up. This is the upside down. You always cut and score on the upside down. And I'm now going to turn it over so you can see what it's supposed to look like. It's going to end up like that. So I have to turn it around so the short part is in the front. Because remember, it's only 4 inches there. And this is now going to flap up, so all the markings on the back you don't see. And these that we cut turn into flaps. I only have one hand to do this. I don't have anybody to film me. Sorry. So anyway, this all flaps and closes it in like a box. I will show it to you once it's all together. I pulled up the sides. I put a little bit of tape on there. You can use duct tape or no tape. But this is to show you that those flaps fold in long ways first in the back. And you have a nice 4 to 5 inch there. It folds in. Everything is concealed. So there's no cut open areas for the urine to go out. The hay pellets stay in. And this is what it should look like. Nice high sides, on the back. Very low in the front for easy access and watching, so you can enjoy your piggies too. Now, what I usually do is zip tie this to the cage itself, because the Midwest does not have a base, and I like to zip tie it real firmly like I did with this cage. So anyway, this is finished. This is your Coroplast. Next thing you do is put your cage around it, zip tie it to it, and you have a nice, stable, long-lasting cage for the Midwest. And you don't even have to use your canvas anymore, and this will last you a long time. All of our caging here, our Coroplast lasts forever. I've only replaced a Coroplast that was damaged or was not scored correctly and had holes in it. I don't think I replaced any of my Coroplast till about 4 or 5 years in. But you can see, we always do high sides. This is a CNC 2x5. So we build cages all the time. This is a 2-story cage we built. You know those playpens that are so low that you really can't use for guineas because they're just too short? They make great wiring for upper levels for guinea pig cages. Save your colored ones that you bought so cheap on Amazon. So anyway, thank you so much. Thanks for watching our educational channel. And if you make any comments, or you've tried it yourself, or have any more hints I'd love to share, or anything else you'd like us to show you how to do, I'm more than happy to give you instructions. Peace, love, and guinea pigs.